CBS News legal analyst Rikki Kleiman joins me now. Rikki, you've prosecuted sex crimes. You've also defended suspects accused of sexual harassment and sexual assault. Do you think Weinstein faces criminal charges here?
He certainly could face criminal charges, but I would say it is highly unlikely. And why is that? Most of these allegations, if they go beyond sexual harassment, and I do not diminish sexual harassment, but if they reach the level of a sexual assault or a rape, which has been detailed by some women in the New Yorker piece, those cases, for the most part, are very old. So you have statutes of limitation that may prevent those cases from ever going forward. You wind up in a situation that has levels that have to be passed through. Number one, is the statute of limitations preventing it from being filed? If not, then the prosecutor has to assess the strength of the case, the credibility of the person who has come forward. This is Bill Cosby all over again. And what happened? We had then upwards of 50 women accusing Bill Cosby of sexual assault. Here, again, not to diminish it, I think these charges or these allegations are horrendous, but most of them are sexual harassment. A request to watch him take a shower, to watch him, forgive me, masturbate, those kinds of things which are not sexual assault. But what happened with Bill Cosby, all allegations of sexual assault, that they had to look for the one and only case that they could resurrect as a result of it being able to pass through the statute of limitations by a matter of a few weeks.
So you're saying ultimately this is a very big uphill battle, and the statute of limitations likely prevents folks from coming forward from a decade ago.
Now, there may be other people out there that we don't know about who definitely now could come forward if their complaints are recent. You have to remember that we're talking primarily about three places in the U.S., New York, California, and Utah. Utah definitely had a long statute as far back as 2013, so it has to be post-2013.
What happens, Rikki, with these women who have confidentiality agreements? How does that factor in?
Well, the confidentiality agreements, again, are another hurdle. If you've signed a confidentiality agreement and accepted money from Harvey Weinstein, then what you have said is you will not speak about this under any circumstances, and that all of your legal woes have been satisfied by this payment. Now, what happened in Bill Cosby's case was simply the thing that could happen here. If it's recent, you could have a prosecutor who says, I have a case here. I really have a case here if I can get the woman to come forward. So you subpoena her before a grand jury. If she says before the grand jury, I cannot testify because I've signed a confidentiality agreement, then the prosecutor gets a court order to force her to testify. Now, a prosecutor is not going to go forward with a woman in a sexual assault case against Harvey Weinstein unless she wants to do that. It may be that many or one of these women does want to do that. But again, it has to be recent.
What happens to his company? 4 out of the 9 board members have resigned. Do you think the company could face some sort of civil liability?
Yes. Yeah. I think that the company is really in need of legal counsel, which of course it has gotten. It has also started an investigation internally to find out about everything that went on. The statute of limitations in civil cases is very short.
Shorter than
2 or 3 years. Very, very short.
That's nothing.
So, but there definitely, we know, again from the New Yorker piece, that there have been complaints that have been raised at least since 2014 by letter and by literal complaint within the Weinstein Company. We don't know what the Weinstein Company or the principals knew and when they knew it, but you also have what we call strict liability. The company will be responsible civilly for the acts of its principal.
What do we know about Harvey Weinstein's legal team?
We don't know a lot. What we do know now is it has been reported that he has retained Blair Burke in California, and Blair Burke is one of the most formidable criminal defense lawyers and will hold her own in a criminal court or a civil court. We really don't know publicly who else is on Harvey's team right now. Harvey Weinstein, we do know the public disassociations. Lisa Bloom is gone. Lanny Davis is gone.
Yeah.
But you can rest assured that Harvey Weinstein has formidable legal talent in his corner.
Yeah. We've got to go, but what's the big takeaway here for companies, for businesses? When you're looking at a case like this, what's the takeaway that people should walk away with?
I don't know why we have to be saying this in 2017. This is not 1987 or 77. Zero tolerance for sexual harassment, let alone sexual assault.
What does zero tolerance mean?
A company has to have a policy. They all have to have policies where you can make a complaint without fear of retribution in a company or to a company. People will say, well, some of these women were actresses, they were models, they weren't employees of the company. You have to be able to have an avenue to make a complaint to the company. No company can tolerate someone in a position of power exercising power the way it is alleged here.
Even if he owns the company?
Even if he owns the company, or maybe especially because he owns the company.
Rikki Kleiman, thank you so much, Rikki.